Uber claims 2021 was the year that they listened and fixed. Did they really? Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to the RideShare Guy. And we're going to go over and react to Uber's blog post, Year in Review of 2021, they claim is the year of listening and fixing. So today we're going to break down the article and I want to hear what your thoughts are. So make sure you comment below as we're going through what you think about 2021 for Uber, what you'd like to see going into 2022 or them be able to pull off, and what is your overall grade for Uber when it comes to what they said when they come to listening and fixing. We're also going to share some driver feedback, what Harry had to say, and also my thoughts after the fact as well too. And before we get into the article itself, one of the big problems when it came down to some of the driver issues that were faced was a background check. Either it took months for it to go through and it was a problem all around. And then some drivers were actually denied being able to drive due to something that was false within the background check itself. Now, if you are somebody who falls under that category, you want to hear what Larry has to say right now.
Thanks, guys. I'm excited to be working with the RideShare Guy again. My firm has been helping Uber and Lyft drivers who've been denied employment because of background checks. We've helped literally hundreds of consumers all around the country who've lost a rideshare job because of a false background check. If this has happened to you, please give us a call at 888-822-1777 or visit our website at www.smithmarco.com. Thanks again. We're looking forward to helping you.
All right. And if you need more information, it will be in the description below. So make sure you click the link. All right. And now let's get into and pull a couple of highlights from this blog post coming from Uber. And again, it's year in review, listening and fixing. If you want to check out the whole thing, a link will be in the description below so you can check it out and read everything. We're just going to pull a few highlights from this. So starting off, it says what drivers and couriers say and do matters most. In 2021, their feedback changed and improved Uber in ways both big and small. And this year, Uber employees from executives, product managers, engineers, and our CEO, Dara, chose to sign up to drive or to deliver and hit the road. In 2022, we want to hear from drivers and couriers even more so we can put their ideas to work. So again, what do you want to see? Make sure you comment below and let us know for going forward into 2022. Who knows? Maybe that change might actually happen. So 2021 was a year of listening and walking or driving in drivers and couriers' shoes. The more we listen to them, the more we are able to make changes. Uber employees, including Dara, chose to drive and deliver on their own time and provide feedback about their experiences using the platform. That feedback resulted in more than 300 fixes that meaningfully improved the driver and courier experience. And have you noticed one of the 300 improvements? Make sure to comment below and let us know. Now, one of the big things that they did do was they launched Uber Crew, which is a program letting drivers and couriers share feedback with Uber employees so they can make real and meaningful changes. And they're trying to expand that going into 2022. Now, a couple of things that you may not have noticed that they did start doing was they made first trips as easy as possible with guided prompts. They improved the navigation experience to large apartment buildings. And they also had executives, employees doing even more listening and fixing going into 2022. Now, if Uber Crew can actually communicate some things that drivers are actually really in need for and actually make it happen, well, that'll be a good thing. So time will tell because it really just kind of launched just a few months ago and they're gearing up to expand it in 2022. So hopefully we'll see some real changes there. And improving the navigational experience when it comes to these apartment complexes is a big thing. Now, if you've noticed something where the apartment complex has not been fixed when it comes to the navigation in your particular spot, try to contact Uber and see if you could work with them to help make it better. So that time when you go to the apartment complex next or other drivers in your area have to, it'll be easy for everybody. Now, this has to be one of the biggest things that drivers have talked about, complained about, and want some answers to when it comes down to getting compensated for higher gas prices. So what Uber says is getting a break on gas by saying gas prices are on the rise and a top expense for drivers and couriers. So they partnered with GetUpside to support drivers while they're on the road. Now, GetUpside is a great gas app, and if you haven't used it yet or downloaded it, there is a link in the description below that you can check it out and help save money on gas out on the road. But one of the big things that is a problem is that, yes, gas has gone up a substantial amount, and yet pay rates have not. So this is one of the things where Uber and both Lyft have failed when it comes to compensating drivers for a much larger expense of gas than it was, say, this time last year. And one of the other topics that we'll break down out of this article, it says, we've strengthened our rider verification process and put more safeguards in place to validate the identities of riders who set up an account without a credit card. Now, rider verification is a key part when it comes to driver safety. It actually helped close a gap when it came to being able to try to identify people who are getting in the car. There is still some issues. We're not going to bring that up, but there are still some issues that need to be addressed when it comes to making the platform safer for everybody. All right, so the article does give a little bit more, but we are only going to just pull a few because we also want to get into what Harry had said when it came to regarding this particular post, as well as what other drivers have to say. And besides that, I'll give my final feedback as well. Now, Harry, founder of the RideShare Guy, had tweeted saying, one of the things I'd love to see more of in 2022 is a better experience for the most loyal, experienced, and top drivers. Not enough loyalty to these folks from the platforms. Higher money, better bonuses, priority support, better trips, more info, swag, etc. This has been a big missed opportunity because a lot of these benefits and features can be built into the existing products and workflows. Not asking for something revolutionary or new, but for example, any driver with 20,000 trips should get a top customer service agent with no wait time every single time they call in. And now let's go over some of the driver feedback that was posted on our Facebook page when we posted about this particular blog post. And Gregory says, I don't understand why I can't work while they do a background check. I've been off for 3 weeks now and no telling when I can be activated again. Joe commented and said, it took 6 weeks for me to get reapproved last month. And so, yeah, there has been some major problems when it comes to background checks. Again, if you've had any problems when it comes to background checks, make sure you check in the description below. Sir Myron says the GPS needs to be set for the fastest route instead of the shortest route. And most of the time when it tries to take you through this route, it's heading you through a bunch of small towns where you're only going 30 miles an hour. Devin says, and none of them saw advantages to giving passengers a favorite driver option. Tom says they're always fixing that they broke, and once it's fixed, it'll be gone in 2 weeks. Who knows? We'll see. And then Sir Myron also responded again and said, both Uber and Lyft really need to change their destination filter. For instance, I sometimes get a ride from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Raleigh, North Carolina airport, which is 150 miles. I'd like to be able to set the filter so they wouldn't accept any ride that wasn't going at least 50 miles back into my direction. Usually what happens when I set the destination filter, it just keeps me going round in circles in Raleigh. And yes, destination filters have been a major problem for several drivers in several areas that have been complaining about this for a long time. Yes, this is something that they really need to look at and figure out and see what's going on. So then the destination filter will be an effective tool for drivers instead of not. So there is an article that the RideShare Guy has posted when it comes to dealing with destination filters. I'll leave a link in the description below. So if you want to see a little bit more information and a couple of tips that you can use, check it out. All right, let's go over one more comment when it comes to driver feedback regarding this post on our Facebook page. And that is from Jim. So no driver suggested higher pay. Sir Myron responded, yeah, we've given up on that. Jim, I hear you, and I'm highlighting that as well for you because that has probably been one of the top complaints about the platforms is pay rates when it comes to drivers, especially as gas prices are going up, especially as car maintenance costs are going up, as well as new and used car prices. So it's a larger expense and drivers are still making the same. But when it came to 2021, earnings were a huge opportunity out there for people. And it's hard to argue that 2021 wasn't a top earner year. Sergio, who writes a lot of our articles on the RideShare Guy's blog, is a top driver in LA, and he's constantly doing between 50 and 60 an hour. With things like surge and quest bonuses and streak bonuses, it was hard to say that you weren't out there making money. The only problem is, if that goes away, there's no bonuses, there's no promotions, there's no surge. It's going to be very hard to sell that because the base rates are still the same. And also, flexibility has been a top thing when it comes to Uber. Flexibility is always something that drivers are looking for. And Uber even knows about it because every time they're talking about drivers and what drivers want, flexibility is probably their staple. And it's always important to show flexibility. Just look at what happened in November. 4.5 million people quit their jobs, and a lot of them are looking for flexibility. Uber has that, and so it's definitely a bonus for them when it comes to what's out there. Now, some of the things that they definitely did not do well in, and they really need to look at fixing or figuring out, is something like deactivations over masks. I mean, masks, no matter what you think about them, unfortunately, they still are part of the CDC's guidelines, and Uber and Lyft have to follow suit. Obviously, it's going to be up to the driver if they want to implement that or not, but when it comes down to it, deactivations over a mask, come on, that was a little ridiculous. Not only that, when you have these background checks that take forever or show up with false problems and have issues, background checks really need to be reevaluated and still done in a timely manner that people who want to go out and drive are able to, but not held back, especially if they've been driving and then they're kicked off the platform during a background check that takes weeks to do. And they just need to fix that there completely. And there could be several more improvements, even little things that can actually make the platform much better for drivers, for riders, and Uber overall. And again, I want to know, what types of changes would you like to see on the platform, which would make it a little easier for you as a driver or a food delivery driver on Uber or Uber Eats? Comment below and let us know. And overall, for our grade when it comes to Uber in 2021, how they did and the improvements that they could potentially make for 2022, their overall grade is C. Not quite there. They did do some improvements, but they still have a lot more to do. All right, that wraps up this whole little 2021 year in review and what they could do better for 2022. So again, make sure you comment any of your thoughts down below. And hey, who knows? Maybe somebody from Uber is going to watch this and take it into consideration and might make that change. And if you enjoyed the content, make sure you smash that like button. Also, while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time new videos come out. We have new videos every single week dealing within the gig economy and how it'll maximize earnings for you as a driver, and also new tips, new tricks, and new changes that are coming from all the different platforms. All right, everyone, drive safe.